He's just, I don't know, he's kind of from another planet.
And onside, it's Mario Balotelli, 2-0! Thundered into the net!
Make it two. And are you kidding? Serious?
Time for their first FA Cup final. It's come to Balotelli!
I think too many people talk, too many people speak about me bad, and now they have just to shut up, that's it.
I'm looking forward to this one. Mario Balotelli, you know the name, but do you know the full story? The epitome of the streets will never forget brand of footballer. Bags of ability, memorable moments, and unbelievable goals. A true showman. You might remember his time at Manchester City, or maybe his stints in Italy playing for both Milan teams. But it all started in a small town called Palermo. Mario was one of 4 children born to Thomas and Rose Barua, Ghanaian immigrants based in Palermo, Mario being born in 1990. Barua's family moved to Brescia when he was just 2 years old. However, by 3 years old, he was placed into foster care. This was due to Mario requiring multiple surgeries as he had an intestinal illness, which caused strains on the already struggling family finances. Therefore, he was raised by Francesco and Silvia Balotelli, 2 Brescia locals. Whilst originally spending time with both parents, as he grew older, he began to resent the fact that his parents rejected him and decided to take the name Balotelli. It wasn't easy being black in Italy. Balotelli would receive abuse and face discrimination often, all while trying to make something of himself and build a career. And he did just that. Despite his turbulent home life, his talent with football was sensational. At age 11, he played for local side AC Lumazzane. A failed Barcelona trial ensued, which resulted in Mario staying in Italy. Here, he would make history, being the youngest player to ever play in the 3rd division at just 15 years old. A year later, one of the biggest clubs in Europe, Inter Milan, came knocking. His debut came under Roberto Mancini in 2007, where Mancini's faith would be rewarded as Balotelli instantly hit the ground running, scoring twice against Juventus in the Coppa Italia quarterfinal, turning the game on its head as they won 3-2. By the end of his first season, he had scored 7 goals, including a goal in the Champions League, the youngest to do it at the time. His career was rocketing to the top, and Balotelli had the ability and the ego to match. In 2009, Juve fans bombarded awful racist chants directed at Balotelli. He then went on to cause a brawl and retaliation, as well as scoring a goal in the process. The fiery attitude of Balotelli was equally matched by Inter Milan's new manager, Jose Mourinho. Jose didn't like the striker's attitude in training and publicly criticized him for it, which has been a constant through his managerial career with players outside of even Balotelli. He then went on to ruthlessly drop Balotelli from the side. Mourinho tried everything, couldn't get Mario in line. He was a lone wolf. If you can harness his ability, you have a special player. But how do you keep him from getting carried away? Many managers have had the same question, and they haven't found the answer. Balotelli's time at Inter Milan had some particular off-the-pitch antics, including being stopped by the police, where he gave them his name, Vincenzo La Quinta, a Juventus striker. Around this same time period, his teammates were getting irritated with the constant off-the-field distractions. Seemed as if there was a new controversy every single week.
I cannot make a change. I don't have a striker on the bench. Don't touch anybody. Play only with the ball. When we lose the ball, no reaction. If somebody provocates you, no reaction. If the referee makes a mistake, no reaction. Mario, please. Minute 46.
No way.
Red card.
No way.
And my take, when you have this much talent, many of the veterans wanted you to be a humble superstar, to fall in line. But that wasn't the way of the Balotelli. In the Champions League, he was poor against Barcelona and threw his shirt on the ground. The ultimate disrespect to the club he represented. He later apologized, stating it was the only regret of his life. The continual barrage of disapproval from fans, teammates, and media alike resulted in his desire to not just leave the club, but the country. And Manchester City came calling, as former manager Roberto Mancini had taken over the club. This was his way back into football forgiveness. Leave the past behind you and carry on into greatness. Just keep your head down, work hard, keep out of trouble. We all know that didn't happen. Manchester City were almost a mirror of Balotelli himself. The noisy neighbors were pushing for their first Premier League title. Manchester United were looking over their shoulders at the top of the table for the first time against the club that shared the city. And a signing like Balotelli, who was unapologetically himself, was a perfect storm, at least on the pitch. He took a little bit of time to get going after an early injury sidelined him. But by November, he finally netted his first goals for the club, and in typical Balotelli fashion, he then went on to elbow West Brom midfielder Youssef Malumbu and got sent off. You win some, you lose some. As December rolled around, he received the Golden Boy Award, usually the sign of a player's likeness of becoming world class. And at the time, he said only one past Golden Boy winner was better than him: Messi. Balotelli never had confidence issues. He finished his first season with 10 goals in all competitions, and the following season's tally would nearly double with 17, including 2 goals against Manchester United, where his iconic "why always me" moment happened. Manchester City demolished United that day, beating them 6-1 in one of the most emphatic matches we've seen in the Premier League. 2012 was a year that highlighted some of Mario Balotelli's best attributes that he had to offer. His performances in the Euros were top tier, especially against Germany, where he scored 2 goals and produced yet another iconic celebration. However, his attitude and off-field antics affected any kind of consistency in his game. Here are just some of the things that Mario Balotelli got up to at Manchester City. After recently signing for the club, he crashed his vehicle and had £5,000 on it. When asked why was he carrying so much cash, he simply replied, "Because I'm rich." And to be fair, I'm going to take an American lens. This is not unusual for our athletes in other sports, and the same could be said with pop culture and celebrities and musicians. The point that I'm making, this might have been blown a little out of proportion. But he also threw darts at youth players as a prank and drove to women's prisons to look around. He struggles with training bibs from time to time, and once used his iPad while on the bench for Italy. One of the most famous incidents involved setting fireworks off in his bathroom at home, which led to the fire department being called to come to his aid. Balotelli was once substituted in a match against Kiev, where he cited an allergy to grass as the excuse. A professional footballer allergic to grass. I know that sounds crazy, but I also have that allergy. I was wearing long socks. His form over the next season would dry up at Manchester City, and he was subsequently sold to AC Milan, where he went on to potentially have the best patch of his career. 13 games, 12 goals, high-level production. This is what the people wanted to see Balotelli achieve, myself included. I root for this man, and I will continue to do so. Present day. He followed it up with a decent second season of 14 goals in 30 games at AC Milan. This would be enough for Liverpool to show interest in the Italian, with Brendan Rodgers being the latest manager to take on the challenge of taming Balotelli, and he didn't stand a chance. Balotelli never really found any form and returned on loan to Italy with just 1 Premier League goal. Unfortunately, he failed to recreate his previous form with Milan, only scoring 1 goal in the Serie A. So between Liverpool and Milan, 36 appearances, 2 goals, not what you're looking for in terms of a striker's output, especially if you sprinkle in a little controversy. I just think Balotelli was infamous. This did, however, spark the beginning of a journeyman career for Balotelli. A couple of fruitful seasons with Nice before a move to Marseille, where he bagged 8 goals in 15 games. His next move was back home, playing for Brescia in the Serie A once more. He would only spend a season there before again continuing his journeyman path, this time down a division to Monza in Serie B. And again, he played 1 season. Since then, he has played in Turkey. We've seen him in Switzerland. He's giving Anelka a run for his money with this globetrotting. Over his career so far, Mario has scored 186 goals. Now at 33 years old, the prime of his career is behind him. We never really got to see what a focused Balotelli could achieve, at least on the pitch. We saw memorable moments, but for every world-class striker performance, we also got a tabloid headline. A true maverick. No one quite thinks the same as Mario Balotelli, a player who fell out with his teammates and managers alike, yet won dozens of trophies and fans worldwide. One thing is for certain, he isn't changing anytime soon.